Ready for Kid News? So are we, but first we have an exciting new podcast to tell you about. Starglow Media is rolling out Musicland Stories. It's a weekly series that takes you on an epic adventure through the universe of Musicland, exploring all the magic that music brings to the world. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning and welcome to Kid News. I'm Tori. Today is Thursday, December 14th, 2023. And we begin with some good news for Mother Earth. After 30 years of meeting to discuss the risks of climate change, leaders from nearly 200 countries reached a historic agreement this week at the COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai. Representatives discussed, debated, and haggled for 2 weeks before reaching a compromise that for the first time ever calls for a global shift away from fossil fuels, which are the chief cause of global warming. Countries will also sharply increase investments into renewable energies like solar and wind power. Critics point to enormous loopholes in the agreement and warn that nations may not have the power to enforce the regulations. But the European Commissioner for Climate Action is optimistic, calling the deal the beginning of the end of fossil fuels. A big bump in the road for electric car maker Tesla and its driverless technology. The company's been forced to recall nearly all 2 million of its cars on U.S. roads to limit the use of its Autopilot feature, following a probe by U.S. safety regulators into nearly 1,000 crashes. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the car's Autopilot system, which can automatically steer, accelerate, and brake, gives drivers a false sense of security. At least one crash occurred when a driver had been sitting in the back seat. The recall will allow Tesla engineers to install new software to increase warnings and alerts. However, some independent safety experts warn bigger fixes may be needed, like installing cameras inside the vehicles to keep a closer eye on the drivers. An ocean oddity is making waves in the waters off Greece. Researchers at the Pelagos Cetacean Research Institute have released photographs of a striped dolphin that appears to have thumbs. According to the Institute's president, the thumb-like flippers are most likely the result of a rare genetic abnormality, never before seen in the 30 years they've been monitoring sea life in the area. Despite its unusual anatomy, it appears to be thriving in the Gulf of Corinth, a protected, semi-enclosed waterway that's home to an estimated 1,300 striped dolphins and other marine mammals. A big league lesson in sportsmanship after some uncharacteristic conduct from one of football's nice guys. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is expressing regret for his behavior toward officials and Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen following Sunday's last-minute loss to the Bills. Mahomes' fiery outburst came after a potentially game-winning touchdown was reversed by an offsides penalty against Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney, who had just raced 49 yards to the end zone after catching a lateral pass from tight end Travis Kelce. During a radio appearance earlier this week, Mahomes said he regrets his emotional reaction, acknowledged the ref's call was correct, and that he'll accept whatever punishment the NFL might impose. The National Film Registry just released its 2023 lineup of movies worth watching. A total of 25 features are chosen annually to be added to the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. Included on the list this year, Home Alone, which tells the story of a family leaving for vacation and somehow leaving their 8-year-old son Kevin behind. And Apollo 13, the iconic space exploration film depicting NASA's 1970 ill-fated mission to the moon. Also on the list, the animated holiday flick, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and the timeless Disney classic, Lady and the Tramp. Still to come, how a chicken is raking in views with his stylish selection of footwear. But first, we want to wish an early happy birthday to Nico Zanting in Cooper City, Florida. Nico, we're told you are kind, hardworking, and a great friend. And your mom, dad, and twin sisters Ida and Eliza want you to know how proud they are of you. We know your big day isn't until the 23rd, but we hope today kicks off a week and a half of celebrating. Now, today's quiz. U.S. regulators are recalling 2 million cars from what manufacturer? Tesla. For the first time ever, world leaders have reached an agreement that calls for what? A global shift away from fossil fuels. What is unusual about a recently spotted striped dolphin? It appears to have thumbs. Why is Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes apologizing? He had a sideline meltdown after his team's late-game loss to the Buffalo Bills. In our KidNuz kicker, he's a California chicken with more shoes and more TikTok followers than most humans. Nubs lost a few toes to a parasite, and walking was tough until strangers saw him comfortably strutting his stuff in a tiny pair of dog's boots and decided to chip in. Now, Nubs the chicken has 64 pairs of kicks and Crocs to choose from every day. Nubs was recently wheelchair-bound due to another health problem, but after some chicken physical therapy, he's back up, well-heeled, and preening for the camera on social media. Thanks again to the Zanting family of Cooper City, Florida, for underwriting today's quiz. An early happy birthday to Nico, who loves geology, space, and running. And hello to his teacher, Ms. Meadows, and all his friends at St. Mark and Southwest Ranches. Go Lions! Before we go, shout-outs to our other KidNuz classrooms, Mrs. Jeffries and her colonials at Albert Gallatin South Middle School in Point Marion, Pennsylvania, Mrs. Briggs and her Gators at Geist School in Fishers, Indiana, and Mrs. Chestnut and her Eagles at Greenbank Middle School in Greenbank, West Virginia. Thanks for listening. A reminder and a hope that you'll consider KidNuz when making your tax-deductible end-of-year donations. We hope you have a great day. We'll see you back here for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.